Hi, my name's Rick Macy. I'm 55. I've been living in Russia for 20 years, and I've got a story for you. I'm going to read it. It's from my blog, and you can judge it as you will, because that's what you're going to do anyway. My life through the fall of 2011 seemed pretty okay, perhaps better than most. Some might say it was awesome. I had no debt, a house in New York State, and one overseas in the heart of St. Petersburg, Russia, Europe's fourth biggest city. Apparently, I had millionaire friends, even a billionaire friend. Never so wrong was I. Ego. Up till then, I'd worked hard as an expatriate worker in Russia, who apparently invested well. It was worth over $2 million, let's say enough to satisfy me and make my mom proud. Then my world slowly flipped upside down. Slowest at first in late 2011, picking up speed, drinking a poisoned beer offered by a Russian lover of my wife, this unknown to me then, Alexander Valerievich Gubov, leading me to lose 40 pounds in a month, thinking I was dying, leading to a dramatic and thoroughly planned divorce in 2012 by my wife and her gang stalker cronies. That was August. In September, my mother spent 4 hours dying as I held her hand. Death by COD, complicated by the variant infection C. diff. Knowing of timetables, I put it at about 60% my mother was unknowingly affected with C. diff. That would be murder. You read along, you might agree, you might not. You see, also unknowingly, I was on a timetable, a plan. This was followed by my last hurrah as a business trainer, having been selected in mid-2013 to be flown to Australia to train Cisco and national phone company Telstra. I had a good mindful of how, with a little effort, a man's reputation built over years tarnished in one afternoon. It happened to be as one student complained unspecifically and without identifying himself, I had bothered his sensitivities, though with time passing, suspect he had some commercial gain for his complaint. The reason I say this, there were 4 of us trainers, one from New Zealand, who kept using the phrase, getting naked with the customer so often as to make me wonder why. In retrospect, now that I know about NLP, he was using a form of strong NLP programming to get me to use his words as my own. And he successfully and willfully did so. Had I been smarter, I would have been better at reading his awkward body language, but him being a Kiwi made it harder than judging a native countryman. But with my ego in charge, I quit. No explanation for me, no services for you. While in New Zealand, I visited former colleague David Fleming. This months before realizing he was, like so many in my life, spies and gang stalkers. We'd only some years earlier turned the yellow pages of Russia from corrupt, money-losing companies to being worth 10 times EBITDA, or US $23 million. That was a scam, intent on pushing buttons as wealth sometimes does. It did. I say the following unembarrassedly, for it's true. I applied some of my resources to free a petite 20-year-old brunette from Angren, Uzbekistan. Think the Fergana Valley and 20 years of economic stagnation. I tried to save her from life living as a whore residing in the cheap bordello. Of course, I first became a client, and with the death of my mother and yet another scam by Tregubov pretending to beat this poor girl on Christmas night 2011 as he was reportedly jealous of the affection she upon me lathered, both she and the overweight madame made several impassioned calls to me to bait that hook on December 26th. And indeed I was hooked. Too many superhero comic books, as I suppose in hindsight. I learned this was street theater. I learned about gang stalking. I learned it was not her, the victim. I took her home to my home in Russia for 5 days to aid in her false recovery. I would not learn that gem of recovery was never to be had, as he never struck her until October 2013 by her own speed-fueled admission that it was a scam. October 2013 was truly special as more street theaters performed before me, this time by the joint forces of ex-wife Svetlana, on and off again whore girlfriend Zhenya, their pals Alexander Tregubov and Yegor Chatryan. I was told at 2 separate times by Seth and Jenny that Alexander planned to kidnap me and then to kill me, slicing my throat, all a lie. All what I learned was termed a psyop. Its intent, this false death threat, was to get me to retreat to the U.S. from Russia and become besotted with illegal narcotics, synthetic cathinones, and the clock was ticking. They had given me a taste of MDPV and MDMA in the fall of 2011 in hopes that I would remain in the U.S. getting hopeless and high due to my mother's passing. While my relationship with my wife was awful false, though to me unknown until her admission of June 20th, 2014, that was a day of days. But I had a card up my sleeve, my son, whom I could never abandon, as I grew up with a 727 pilot for Dad, more often away than fathering, and so I headed back for Russia and so much street theater. I met Russian spy Anna Chapman in Moscow in 2008. I ignored her feeling waves of evil. She was 24. She shouldn't have been running the company, but she was. So it seemed to me she had a sugar daddy. I just lacked imagination to think it was a 3-letter organization. I dodged that big-breasted bullet, plenty of other women in play as they probed my sexual weaknesses and how to best exploit them. And they came up with young whore Yevgenia Victoria Kosheleva, a red sparrow. Let's switch topics for a sec. A la this year's Notre Dame burning my roof went up in manner unsolved on, get this, May 29, 2009, JFK's birthday. That gem passed me unasked by likely CIA agent in Russia, Jason Smolik. The fire was to have been blamed posthumously on me to maintain those low nutcase false paradigms. Now, switching forward to December of 2015, then ex-wife Svetlana, with a huge smile, asked me astonishingly, didn't I know 80% of my expat and Russian friends were actually spies? No, I hadn't. Where was I? In time, I learned I was a target. To have been a patsy in an attempt on the life of then U.S. President Barack Obama. I dodged, we figured it out, escaped. Brother veteran Omar Gonzalez scaled that White House fence under the pressures of Lord knows what FBI and other hidden technology. So Omar is found by the least scientific of the sciences, psychiatry, given a 2-year sentence in order to have antipsychotic pills for many years. They are not so much medication as they discombobulate he who ingests these dangerously misunderstood pills. Obama was to be dead a la JFK in 63. Biden was to be installed a la LBJ, and me, little old Rick Macy, in the role of poor Lee Harvey Oswald. I recall brilliantly the phone call between myself and Yegeshar Chatterton where he screamed, Rick, you will be this generation's Lee Harvey Oswald. We will get you and Obama too. They failed. I survived. I rebuilt my little family. Fought my way off antipsychotics, and have told every word of this tale to my son, Nicholas James Macy. Yes, and that includes his mother's lies. For I believe a father has a responsibility to prepare their boys for all the light and the dark in this world. Now, if you have a chance, Google Ole Damagard. He's been researching over 20 years of national government false flag events. Ole is correct. I found out in manner both unpleasant and unbelievable. So, back to the question at hand. How does being targeted affect one's life? Ditch the false friends. Beware of newcomers. Be prepared for aspects of your life to be smashed as under corrupt FBI guidance renders Calabresi and Dylan Chase ruined my once magnificent 3,000 square foot home on a 2-acre hill. Get ready for undercover FBI agents' work to get you in jail or worse in order to wind up that loose end. I recall undercover FBI agent Coy Ebel, most of all, and how 19 expensive downtown Denver high-rise apartments all became vacant just as I headed back to Russia to learn that my issue started with CIA and likely before that the USS. Talk about the elephant room in the room. Think about it. Don't believe what they tell you on TV. They lied to you about JFK. They lied to you about 9/11. They lied to you about so many things. And just as LBJ hopped in the hot seat, murdered the president, took over, Biden would have done the same damn thing. Why do you think he didn't run for president last time? You believe a politician, his son? No. The world's a far darker place. Anyway, consider my words. Have a good day, and I hope you make 55 as well.